Annie Korzen is coming up next. Her quote is from her. She says, "I must be an optimist because every day is such a bitter disappointment."
So in 1996, we moved into the Fairfax area of Los Angeles, an unfashionable neighborhood of old Russian Jews and new Russian immigrants. I liked it because it was one of the few walking areas of LA, and as a New Yorker, I do not want to drive 5 miles when I need to buy an aspirin. Also, Fairfax reminded me of Marsh Loop Parkway in the Bronx, where I grew up. Now, truth be told, I hated Marsh Loop Parkway in the Bronx, where I grew up. But it was comforting to find something familiar in the vast and incomprehensible sprawl of Los Angeles. Also, I like that acerbic immigrant humor that you got in the mom and pop food stores. "So, Andy, you want 2 shallots? You expecting company, maybe?" I found that a refreshing change from Ralph's, where everybody suffered from terminal chirpiness. "Have a good one, and thanks much." Shortly after we moved in, I realized that the people next door were the neighbors from hell. The mother, Nancy, could not speak without yelling, and the quality of the dialogue was something like, "Maria, I'm not taking you to school until you make a number 2, so keep sitting on the toilet." This jolly banter went on morning, noon, and night, screaming at her sister on the phone, screaming at her husband in the garage, screaming at their 2 satanic Rottweilers in the backyard. Marie would often run away from home. Who could blame her? And straight into my garden. Nancy would come following after, the 2 of them shrieking at the top of their lungs. This drama was played out right at my office window, where I had been sitting at my computer, trying to be serene and focused and creative. "Maria, get back in the house or I'm going to call the police and he's going to come and throw you in jail." Now, my own child is grown, so it's been quite a while since I read Dr. Spock. But I doubt that he recommended threats of prison time as a healthy disciplinary tool. It turns out that incarceration was a very real issue for this family. Nancy's brother came to visit, and it seems he was an ex-con. His voice, his conversation was not only booming, it was downright scary. "She never even fucking visited me all the fucking time I was in jail. If she's fucking someone else, you know I got a fucking gun." Now here I am, a cultured, sophisticated, refined woman. I mean, I drink Prosecco, whose world has suddenly been taken over by the Soprano family. I wait until the brother leaves town before I finally complain to Nancy about the constant noise. "Oh, we can't help it. You know, it's in our nature. We're Italian." The funny thing is, they don't look Italian. And then a sign goes up on their front lawn which reads, "Palm readings." And I realize that I'm living next door to a family of gypsies. Now, I've always had those romantic, stereotypical fantasies about gypsies, you know, beautiful, dark, swarthy people and heartbreaking music and sensual dances by men who applaud their own butts. But next door, there is no music, there is no dancing, there is only hollering. Plus, Nancy is a compulsive housekeeper and an insomniac. So in addition to the constant shrieking, we are waken up at all hours of the night by the roar of her vacuum cleaner and the clatter of dishes being washed. Her house is indeed spotless. The decor, however, leaves a little something to be desired. Her living room wall is dominated by a larger-than-life-size painting of Arnold Schwarzenegger. He is bare-chested and pointing a Uzi directly at the viewer. I give a yard sale, and Nancy comes over, and she brings a very fine old Martin guitar and wants to know if I can sell it for her. I say, well, yeah, but you would do much better on eBay. No, we can't do eBay. The guitar might be hot. I really, really resent these people. I resent being trapped in their chaotic universe of noise and Terminator paintings and hot guitars. I want neighbors who share my respectable, educated, middle-class values. Is that asking too much? Does that make me some kind of snobbish, elitist bigot? If so, so be it. But time passes, and we fall into some kind of tenuous peace. It turns out that Maria is actually a very bright little girl who likes to read, so I occasionally pick up books for her. Nancy lends me an extra table when I need it for one of my yard parties, and if I say the smell of her fried chicken is really nice, she insists on making a plate for me. Also, it's gotten quieter over there because apparently Maria has finally learned to defecate on cue. Now, by this time, the Grove has been built, and the once undesirable Fairfax area has gotten gentrified, and our neighbors cannot afford the rent increases. So they move out into a storefront where Nancy can have her fortune-telling clients in the front, and the family lives in back. They have been replaced by a succession of young, anonymous careerists. I rarely hear them. I rarely see them. I don't really know them. I have no contact with them. I would never think of ringing their bell to borrow a cup of milk. And anyway, I doubt that they keep any milk in the house. They just pick up a latte on the way to the studio. I really, really resent these people. I resent their $1,200 handbags and their terrorist funding SUVs and their absolute lack of any interest in me. I want neighbors who welcome personal contact so that I can feel I am part of a community. Is that asking too much? Well, so be it. When we lived in an apartment building on the Upper West Side of New York, it was like living in a village. My kid played with the kids in 2C. My husband practices German with a concert pianist in 10A. And every Christmas, the gay guys in 11B would bake extra cookies and give us a tray. My dream of a neighborly neighborhood caused me to become addicted to this TV show called Army Wives. which was about a bunch of women living on an army post who supported each other through their various domestic calamities. I loved that show. It was so reassuring. And it caused me to have this insane fantasy that I, Annie Korzen, might find happiness living on a military base. I ran into Nancy a couple of weeks ago at the post office. Oh, how you doing? You know, John and I broke up. He had too many women. How are you and Benny? I always used to hear the two of you arguing. Huh? As we hugged goodbye, I said to Nancy that I missed her and I wished she was still my neighbor. And to my utter and profound astonishment, I realized that I was speaking the truth. Thank you.